My child, before you continue with everything that is waiting for you today, before your thoughts return to your responsibilities, before your attention is pulled away once again, stay with me, just for a little while, not because I want to interrupt your life, but because I have been waiting for this moment longer than you realize. This message did not appear before you by accident. Your heart may think this is just another video, another voice, another message among thousands. But my child, I know exactly where you are. I know exactly what has been happening inside you. And I know why these words found you today. Because there has been something standing quietly between us for a long time. Not anger, not rejection, not distance created by me. Silence. My child, I have been waiting for your answer. Not because I stopped loving you while I waited. Not because my patience became smaller, but because love never forces its way into a heart. Love waits, and I have waited for you with a love that has never grown tired. Perhaps you do not even remember when the silence began. It did not happen all at once. There was no single morning when you decided to walk away from me. There was no day when you said, "I don't want you anymore." Instead, life became louder, responsibilities became heavier, disappointments became deeper, the days became busier, and little by little, the conversations we once shared became shorter, the quiet moments became fewer, the prayers became postponed, then postponed again, until one day, silence simply became normal. My child, please don't leave yet, because before this message is over, I want to show you something about that silence that you may have never understood before. You have told yourself many things. I'll pray when life calms down. I'll come back when I feel stronger. I'll spend time with God when my heart is in a better place. When everything settles, then I'll return. But my child, how many tomorrows have quietly become yesterday? How many invitations have become memories? How many times have you whispered, "later," without realizing that later slowly became a way of living? I know, I have heard every one of those promises, not to judge you, but because I know how easily a tired heart believes there will always be another opportunity. My child, do you remember the days when talking to me felt natural, when your heart responded without hesitation, when gratitude came more easily, when hope still felt close? Those moments were real. I remember them. I remember every prayer you whispered with childlike faith. I remember every tear you trusted me with. I remember every quiet morning when you simply wanted to be near me. I have forgotten none of it, and I have not forgotten you, my child. Perhaps the hardest part is this: you never stopped believing that I existed. You simply stopped believing that your answer mattered. Somewhere along the way, you began to think, God already knows everything, so maybe my words aren't necessary. My silence probably doesn't matter. But my child, if your answer did not matter, I would not still be waiting. If your voice did not matter, I would not still be calling your name. If your heart did not matter, I would not have brought you here today. My child, I have never needed perfect words. I have never asked for impressive prayers. I have never waited for flawless faith. I have only desired your heart. Because love has never been built on perfect conversations. Love is built on honest ones. You may think you have nothing beautiful left to say. You may think too much time has passed. You may wonder whether the silence has lasted too long. But listen carefully now, because this may be the first lie your heart needs to let go of today. Silence has never frightened me. It has only made me miss hearing your voice. My child, I know you have wondered if you waited too long, if perhaps you disappointed me, if perhaps I quietly moved on without you. Nothing could be further from the truth. Every day that you felt too ashamed to return, I was still looking toward the door. Every night you thought, maybe tomorrow, I was still waiting. Every time you believed, "It's probably too late now," my answer remained the same. "I am still here. My child, please stay with me for just a little longer, because what I am about to tell you next may completely change the way you see your silence. Perhaps you thought your silence pushed me away, but what if it never did? What if I remained closer than you ever imagined? And what if the reason I am speaking today is not because you failed me, but because I love you too deeply to stop calling your name? My child, stay with me a little longer, because now I want to speak gently into something that has weighed on your heart for a very long time. You have wondered why it became so difficult to answer me, why something that once felt so natural now feels so far away, why conversations that once brought peace now feel awkward, why your heart has remained quiet for so long. My child, the answer may not be what you think. It was never because you stopped being loved. It was never because I stopped calling. It was never because my voice became weaker. It was because your heart slowly became overwhelmed. Not all at once, not in one terrible day, but little by little, one disappointment, one busy season, one unanswered question, one painful memory, one postponed prayer, then another and another, until silence became familiar. My child, please do not misunderstand me. I know your silence was never rebellion. It was exhaustion. You were trying to survive, trying to keep everyone else happy, trying to meet expectations, trying to carry responsibilities that seemed to multiply every day. You kept telling yourself, "I'll spend time with God when things settle down. I'll pray when I have more energy. I'll come back when my heart feels different." My child, you were waiting for the perfect moment, but perfect moments rarely arrive. Life simply kept moving. The calendar kept turning. The responsibilities kept growing, and every day that passed made returning feel just a little more difficult, not because I moved farther away, but because your own heart began believing the distance was too great. My child, please stay with me here, because this is important. Many people think silence begins when they stop praying, but silence begins much earlier. It begins the moment the heart starts believing, "I'll answer later, later." Such a small word, such a harmless word, and yet, later has quietly stolen countless conversations. Later has postponed countless prayers. Later has convinced many hearts that tomorrow will always offer another chance. My child, how many times have you whispered that word, not because you did not love me, but because you thought there would always be more time? "I'll answer tomorrow. I'll slow down next week. I'll return after this season. I'll listen when life becomes easier." I heard every promise, not to count your failures, but because I knew your heart truly wanted to come back. You simply kept waiting for the right circumstances. My child, do you know what I have never asked from you? I have never asked for a perfect schedule. I have never asked for a perfect life. I have never asked for perfect emotions. I have never waited for you to have everything together before speaking with me. That was never my invitation. My invitation has always been much simpler. Come as you are. Come while you are tired. Come while you are confused. Come while you are uncertain. Come while you are still carrying questions. Because, my child, if you wait until everything is fixed, you may wait forever. My child, perhaps one of the greatest misunderstandings has been this. You believed your silence disappointed me, so the longer you stayed away, the harder it became to return. You began thinking, "It has been too long. I should have answered sooner. What would I even say now?" So you remained quiet, not because you had nothing to say, but because you no longer knew how to begin. My child, please hear me carefully. Love never forgets how to begin again. Love does not keep a record of silent days. Love simply rejoices whenever the conversation starts again. That has always been my heart toward you. Not, why did you stay away, but, I'm so glad you're here. My child, think about a loving father whose child has been gone for a long time. When the child finally returns, does the father first count the days of absence, or does he first embrace the child standing before him? My child, you already know the answer, and my heart toward you has never been smaller than the love of a good father. I have never been standing with crossed arms, waiting to remind you how long you were silent. I have been waiting with open arms, hoping this would be the day you stopped running from the conversation. My child, stay with me, because there is something I need you to understand before we go any further. Your silence never changed my heart. It only changed yours. I never stopped listening. I never stopped caring. I never stopped calling your name. I never stopped making room for your return. The only thing silence changed was the story you began telling yourself. You told yourself you were too late. You told yourself you had disappointed me. You told yourself you had missed your chance. You told yourself the distance had become permanent. But my child, none of those stories came from me. I have never spoken those words over your life, not once. Because while you were measuring the distance, I was measuring my love. While you were counting the days of silence, I was counting the moments until you would hear my voice again. While you wondered whether I still wanted you, I never questioned whether I still wanted you. The answer has always been yes. My child, please don't leave yet, because what I am about to tell you may completely change the way you understand your silence. You have believed that silence meant the conversation had ended. But what if silence was never the end? What if I was still waiting through every quiet day, not with disappointment, but with hope? What if the invitation had never expired? And what if your answer today matters just as much as it would have mattered years ago? My child, that is what I want to show you next. My child, stay with me, because what I am about to tell you may become the turning point of this entire conversation. For a long time, you have believed that the reason you have not answered me is because you are not ready. You have told yourself, when my faith becomes stronger, I'll come back. When I stop struggling, I'll answer. When I finally become the person God wants me to be, then I'll pray again. My child, that is the lie that has kept so many hearts silent, not because they stopped loving me, but because they believed they had to become someone else before speaking to me again. Please hear me carefully. I have never been waiting for a better version of you. I have been waiting for you. Not the stronger you, not the happier you, not the more faithful you. You, exactly as you are today. My child, this is what I want you to understand, and perhaps it is the truth your heart has been searching for without even realizing it. I was never waiting for perfection. I was waiting for your answer. There is a difference that changes everything, because perfection says, come when you are worthy, but love says, come because you are loved. Perfection says, fix yourself first. Love says, let me walk with you. Perfection says, you've waited too long. Love says, I'm still here. My child, please don't miss this, because this is the truth that has been hidden beneath your silence for so long. You believed I was measuring your performance, when all along, I was simply longing for your presence. You thought I wanted flawless prayers. I wanted an honest heart. You thought I expected confidence. I welcomed trembling. You thought I required certainty. I embraced sincerity. You thought you had to know exactly what to say. But my child, some of the most beautiful conversations begin with only 4 words. Lord, I'm still here. That is enough, more than enough. My child, think about someone you deeply love. If they stopped talking to you for months, would your greatest desire be to hear a perfect speech, or would your heart simply long to hear their voice again? You already know the answer. Love is not hungry for perfection. Love is hungry for relationship. And my child, relationship has always been my desire. Not religion, not performance, not appearances. Relationship. That is why I kept calling your name. That is why I kept placing quiet invitations in your path. That is why this message reached you today. Because relationships are not rebuilt through grand gestures. They are rebuilt through one honest answer. My child, please stay with me here, because there is another misunderstanding I want to gently remove from your heart. You have been afraid that your silence changed how I see you. It did not. Your silence changed how you saw yourself. Every day you delayed, you quietly believed you were becoming less welcome, less worthy, less wanted, less loved. But my child, love does not become smaller because someone has been silent. If anything, love becomes more eager for reunion. Do you know why I have continued waiting? Not because I needed something from you, but because I wanted something for you. Peace, rest, freedom. The kind of closeness your heart has been quietly missing without knowing how to describe it. My child, the greatest tragedy was never your silence. It was what your silence slowly taught you to believe. It taught you that distance was permanent. It taught you that shame had the final word. It taught you that returning would be awkward. It taught you that perhaps I had grown tired of waiting. But none of those thoughts ever came from me. Never. Not once. Because my voice has always said the same thing. Come home. Come now. Come honestly. Come without pretending. Come without rehearsing. Come without fear. Come because you are my child, not because you have earned the right. My child, this is the moment I have been waiting for. Not because I expect you to promise that you will never struggle again. Not because I expect perfect obedience from this day forward. Not because I expect every question to disappear. I simply want your heart to stop believing the lie that you must become perfect before you answer me. Because if you wait for perfection, you will never discover the joy of walking with me through your imperfections. That is how relationship grows. Not after the struggle, inside the struggle. Not after every fear disappears, while learning to trust me with those fears. Not after every tear stops falling, while I gently wipe them away. My child, please don't leave yet, because there is one final truth I want to place inside your heart before this conversation comes to an end. You have been wondering whether it is too late to answer, whether too much time has passed, whether your silence has become too long, whether the invitation still remains. Stay with me, because that is exactly what I want to tell you next. My child, stay with me a little longer, because now we have arrived at the place where many hearts quietly stop believing. This is the place where shame begins to whisper. This is the place where guilt tries to become louder than my voice. This is the place where you start wondering, what if I have waited too long? What if I missed my chance? What if God has stopped calling my name? My child, listen to me carefully, because I want to answer those questions once and for all. Your silence never changed my love, not for a single day, not for a single hour, not for a single moment. While you were measuring the distance, I was loving you with the same love I had always loved you. While you wondered whether I still wanted you, I never questioned whether I wanted you. While you hesitated, I remained. While you delayed, I remained. While you searched for the right words, I remained. Because my love has never depended on how quickly you answered me. It has always depended on who I am, and I do not change. My child, please stay with me here, because there is something your heart has carried that I want to gently remove today. Somewhere along the journey, you began confusing shame with conviction. They are not the same. Conviction says, "Come closer." Shame says, "Stay away." Conviction reminds you that I still want you. Shame tells you that you no longer belong. Conviction opens the door. Shame convinces you the door is locked. My child, only one of those voices belongs to me, and it has never been the voice that tells you to hide. Have you noticed what shame always asks you to do? Stay silent, keep pretending, wait longer, fix yourself first, hide your weakness. Don't let anyone know. Especially don't come to God until you've cleaned up your heart. My child, that voice has never been mine, because I have never asked you to heal yourself before coming to the one who heals. I have never asked you to become clean before coming to the one who washes. I have never asked you to become whole before coming to the one who restores. My invitation has always been the same. Come, just come. Come with your tired heart. Come with your confused thoughts. Come with your unfinished healing. Come with your unanswered questions. Come exactly as you are. My child, please don't leave yet, because this may be the truth that finally breaks the power of your silence. You have believed that every day you delayed made returning more difficult, but from my side, returning has never become more difficult. The door has never become heavier. The invitation has never become smaller. The welcome has never become colder. My arms have never become more reluctant to embrace you. If anything, every day of silence only made my invitation more patient, because love knows how to wait. Real love does not become bitter because it waits. Real love does not become resentful because it waits. Real love does not stop hoping because it waits. And my child, there has never been a single morning when I stopped hoping to hear your voice again. Not one. My child, think about this. How many times did you almost pray, then stop? How many times did you almost open your Bible, then become distracted? How many times did you almost whisper, "Lord," only to become silent again? You thought those moments meant nothing. I noticed every one. Not because I was disappointed you stopped, but because I saw your heart trying to come back. I saw the desire beneath the hesitation. I saw the love beneath the fear. I saw the longing beneath the silence. My child, that longing is still there. You may have buried it beneath responsibilities. You may have covered it with disappointment. You may have hidden it beneath busy days and restless nights. But it is still alive, because if it were not, you would not still be listening to my voice today. You would not still be searching. You would not still wonder whether I was calling you. The very fact that your heart is moved by these words is proof that our conversation never truly ended. It only became quiet. My child, please stay with me, because I want to tell you something I hope you never forget. I have never loved you because you answered perfectly. I loved you before you answered. I loved you while you answered. I loved you when you stopped answering, and I love you now. Nothing about your silence surprised me. Nothing about your struggle shocked me. Nothing about your hesitation made me walk away. Because before you ever knew how much you needed me, I already knew how much I loved you. My child, do you know what I have been waiting for all this time? Not a perfect prayer, not a perfect promise, not a perfect future, just one honest moment, one honest sentence, one honest conversation, one honest answer. Because relationships are never restored through perfection. They are restored through honesty. My child, perhaps you think your answer must be long. Perhaps you believe you need to explain every silent year. Perhaps you think you owe me an explanation. You do not. Love does not demand explanations before offering an embrace. Love simply says, "I'm glad you're here." That is what my heart has been saying every single day. I'm glad you're here. My child, please remain with me just a little longer, because there is one final invitation I want to place before your heart. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when life becomes easier. Today. Not because I want to pressure you, but because today is the only moment where love can truly be answered. And my child, I am still waiting, not with disappointment, not with impatience, but with hope, the same hope that has never stopped believing you would one day answer my voice. My child, before this conversation comes to an end, there is one last thing I want you to carry with you. Not another responsibility, not another burden, not another reason to feel guilty, but a truth that I hope will stay with you long after these words have faded. I am still waiting, not because I am uncertain about you, not because I am wondering whether you are worthy, not because I have not yet decided if I still want you. I am waiting because love knows how to wait. Love does not force. Love does not demand. Love invites. And my invitation has never been withdrawn. My child, for so long, you believed the silence was the end of the story. You believed too much time had passed. Too many opportunities had been missed. Too many prayers had been postponed. Too many days had gone by. But my child, relationships are not restored because time is reversed. They are restored because someone chooses to answer. That answer can begin today. Not tomorrow. Not when life becomes easier. Not after every question has been answered. Today. Because today is all you have ever needed to begin again. My child, perhaps you have been waiting for a sign. Perhaps you have asked, God, if you're really calling me, show me. What if this very moment has been the answer you were waiting for? What if these words found you because I never stopped searching for the quiet place where your heart could finally hear mine? What if the reason you paused today was not coincidence, but compassion? My child, please stay with me for just a little longer, because there is something your heart deserves to know. I have never measured our relationship by the days you remain silent. I have measured it by my faithfulness, and my faithfulness has never failed. There were days you forgot to pray. I remained. There were nights you chose distraction instead of stillness. I remained. There were seasons when my name barely crossed your mind. I remained. There were moments when you believed I had become distant. I remained. Because my presence has never depended on your perfection. It has always flowed from my love. My child, do you know what I have imagined all this time? Not a perfect version of you returning. Not someone who finally has every answer. Not someone who suddenly feels fearless. I have simply imagined hearing your voice again, even if it trembles, even if it breaks, even if all you can whisper is, Lord. That single word would be enough to begin the conversation again, because I have never been waiting for beautiful words. I have been waiting for your heart, my child. You may wonder, but where do I begin? Begin where you are. If your heart feels tired, tell me. If your faith feels small, tell me. If your questions remain unanswered, tell me. If your silence has lasted longer than you ever intended, tell me. Nothing you say will surprise me. Nothing you confess will make me love you less. Nothing you bring to me is greater than my desire to walk with you. My child, this is what I have wanted you to understand from the very beginning. Your silence never stopped my love. Your absence never erased your place in my heart. Your delay never canceled my invitation. Your hesitation never exhausted my patience. I have never stopped calling you, because I have never stopped loving you. My child, the world will often tell you that relationships grow weaker with silence. Sometimes they do, but my love is not limited by the weaknesses of human love. I have been faithful through every quiet season, patient through every unanswered invitation, hopeful through every delayed response, because I knew this day would come, the day when your heart would become still enough to hear me again. My child, Do not leave this message believing you owe me perfection. Leave this message knowing you are deeply loved. Do not leave believing you must earn your way back. Leave knowing the way has always been open. Do not leave believing you have disappointed me beyond repair. Leave knowing my mercy has always been greater than your silence. My child, there is no celebration in heaven because someone finally became perfect. There is joy whenever a heart answers love. There is joy whenever fear loses its grip. There is joy whenever shame stops speaking louder than grace. There is joy whenever a child remembers they still belong. And my child, you have always belonged. Please remember that. On the busy days, you belong. On the lonely nights, you belong. When your faith feels strong, you belong. When your faith feels fragile, you belong. When your prayers are full of confidence, you belong. When all you have are tears and silence, you still belong. Because you have never been my child only on your best days. You have always been my child. My child, as this conversation comes to an end, I am not asking you to promise me that you will never struggle again. I am not asking you to promise that you will never become distracted again. I am not asking for a perfect future. I am simply inviting you to answer. One honest answer. One quiet conversation. One willing heart. That is enough. More than enough. Because every restored relationship begins with a single response. And perhaps that response begins now. Perhaps today becomes the day you stop postponing. Perhaps today becomes the day silence no longer tells your story. Perhaps today becomes the day you realize, I was never waiting for perfection. I was waiting for you. My child, if this message reached your heart today, let your answer be simple. Write these words in your heart, or if you feel led, write them below. Lord, I know you have been waiting, and today I answer. And if those words are all you can offer me today, they are enough. Because I hear honest hearts, I welcome willing hearts, and I will never stop loving you. Go in peace, my child. I am still with you. I always will be. Amen.